Hey guys, it's Spooky Boots here, and today is another windy day here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I don't really feel like skating, so I want to talk about something that I think, looking at my analytics, I think a lot of you guys will find valuable. So yeah, I basically just want to talk about the realities of learning to inline skate as an adult. So if all of this sounds interesting to you, go ahead and stick around, and yeah, let's just get started. There are three topics I want to talk about today, touch on, and I'm going to try to make this a short video, but I don't think that's going to be the case. You know, there's so much to go over with just these three topics alone, but I think they're the three most important pillars when it comes to someone considering getting into inline skating. So I'm going to be as thorough as possible, and if you guys have any more questions or concerns or whatever, just in the comments below, let me know what you're thinking, and I can talk with you there. Or if you want something a little more private, hit me up on Instagram. I'll put my whatever here. With that said, let's just get started. Let's talk about equipment. I think equipment is probably the thing that gets people most excited. It's definitely the thing that gets people most excited. For example, the other day I did a trail skate with Nadia at the Bosque Trail. It was like 22 miles. She was on her bike. I was on these guys. If you guys haven't noticed, there's a lot of inline skaters out there in the wild at the moment for some reason. And yeah, I was so happy to see that. I was so stoked. I saw one quad skater. I saw two big wheelers. I think one was on 125s, which is what these are. And it looked like he was skating with his partner. She was on 90s. I also saw a guy on, those roller skis. So I had an experience where I was like, man, I've never really considered wanting to roller ski, but after watching this older guy on these roller ski, I was like, I need that in my life. And I think that experience right there is what is the most important, because that starts the spark. And if you see someone doing something that you think you'd be interested in, and then you go home and you look up inline skates, like it's going to be an overwhelming search result, but it gets the momentum started, and the next thing you know, they have a pair of skates coming to their house in a week. I think that's one of the most important things, is seeing and experiencing. So let's talk about equipment. There are so many resources and places to buy equipment, and there's so many different brands and products out there, and I'm not going to recommend any one shop, and I'm not going to recommend any one product or type of skate, whatever. Instead, what I want to tell someone who is considering getting into inline skating or getting back into inline skating is to just do your research. My three top suggestions would be: get on Reddit and join, I think there's a rollerblading subreddit, join it. Get on Facebook, join as many inline skating pages as you can. There's a lot of great ones. Get on YouTube, like you are right now. Just get on YouTube and start typing in keywords, start typing in what you think you want. Just like, if you don't know what something's called, just describe it in the search bar and you'll start getting channels for it. Three-wheel rollerblades, three-wheel inline skates, whatever. And the next thing you know, you're going to have 20 videos of people talking about three-wheel frames and three wheels and, boots to go along with that. So I think all of these resources are valuable places to go, and just spend your time researching. Don't buy something right away. If you're coming back to blading, you might look up a brand that doesn't even exist anymore or has transitioned into something else. Just do some research, talk to people in the groups. Those places are full of people who genuinely care about the sport and want to see someone who is entering the sport have a good experience. So they're not going to give you bad information. They might give you information that you aren't exactly looking for, but you can, you got to weed through that and, see what's good. That's equipment. And I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you guys have any more specific questions about brands and stuff like that, just hit me up on Instagram. If you guys want to know a good shop to go to, hit me up on Instagram and I can point you in some directions, and hopefully I can be of more help if you were looking for something a little more in depth. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about the social experience, because recently I had someone on my channel ask me if I had felt weird about street skating a spot I got kicked out of as an adult. And I can say that now I don't. When I started street skating as an adult, like started to return to street skating as an adult, as you get older, I don't know if it's probably just me. I've gotten more paranoid, and I think I'm like constantly like, I don't know, I have all these hypotheticals of like excuses in my head of like what I'm going to tell like the cops when they get there. I'm like, oh, I was just passing through. I saw this. I was just jumping on it for a second. I'm taking off right now. I don't know. As a kid, I never thought about that. The cops would show up and I'd be like, what do you want? Get out of here. Like, I don't know. As an adult, you just become more, I don't know, caring, I guess. So yeah, I had someone ask me about my experience of getting kicked out of a street spot, private property, that as an adult, and I don't feel weird about it. If you are polite and you leave when the property owner asks you to leave, you're not going to run into any trouble. Like 9 times out of 10, they just ask you to leave and you leave and it's over. I'm not young anymore, so I don't have anything to prove to my friends by, telling a security guard to screw off or anything. I just don't. I skate alone. So, I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm not trying to impress myself, and I'm not trying to, make the security guard have a bad day. I'm also not filming like for my end of the year edit, and I need to get the clip no matter what, and I'm just going to keep skating no matter what the property owner says. I'm not going to do that. If anything, I just leave and then come back a week later, and 9 times out of 10, I've just gotten the trick, or I am realizing I'm too tired to continue skating, and that's when they like, hey, you gotta take off, and I'm like, I'm ahead of you. So like it doesn't feel weird to me, and it's just perspective and experience. If you're out there and you're an adult and you're street skating and you get kicked out, like just leave. I've never had anyone question why I was there. They're like, hey, you're almost a 30-year-old adult man. Why are you like, skating the spot? Like that doesn't happen. They know what you're trying to do, and they don't like it, and they ask you to leave, and you leave, and it's over. Skate parks. So skate parks are a slightly different experience. For those of you returning to inline skating, the skate park environment is a completely different place, and it is more welcoming than ever. And a lot of what I'm going to say here overlaps for the people who are learning to inline skate as an adult and have never been to a skate park before. This is going to be a lot of overlap. So if you have concerns about skateboarders trying to start a fight with you or getting funny looks and whatever, like it's not really an issue anymore, and it's silly. If anything, you're going to have, I bet you, if you go to your local skate park and you're in inline skates, you're going to generate you're going to have people who are interested in what you're doing. I bet a skateboarder is going to come up to you and they're going to be like, what are you doing? Like, I haven't seen this in so long. Like, whoa, like, that's awesome. Like, it's a completely different environment. There's no beef anymore. And it's if there is, it's silly. And like, if someone starts giving you a hard time, you're going to have people back you and be like, as long as you're not like snaking people and like just being a jerk, like people don't care what you're doing. Like people don't care what you're on. If anything, you're going to be outnumbered by guys and kids on scooters. Like it's just, and they don't care. They just don't care. They're young, they're there to have fun, and they don't care what you're doing. So yeah, it's a completely different environment, and you're going to have people probably give you weird looks occasionally, but that's the outlier. You're going to have way more people that appreciate what you're doing there, and they don't care how old you are. So you're never too old to skate. And yeah, that's just the experience I've had. That seems to be the experience that most people are having. Also, if you are new to inline skating and you want to go to a skate park and you're not sure about how traffic works or like what you are and are allowed to do, like, my best advice I can give you is just go to the park, find a bench or a table to sit on, not a skate element, something on the outside of the park, on the edge of the park, and just watch and observe. See what people are and are not doing, and most of the time it's just common sense. It's just good eye contact with people, like making sure, look at what people have been skating and what they're continuing to skate. And if you want to skate that, try to make eye contact with them. It's like most of the time it goes like this. Like that's just how it goes. So just be courteous, be aware, and you're not going to have any issues. And if an accident does happen, most of the time you just run into each other. Most of the time everyone's fine, and then it's not a big deal. You just brush it off, they brush it off. It's usually not a big deal. That is the social experience. I don't really have much to say for someone who is like trail skating or urban skating. Most of the time you're skating by yourself or with a friend, and you're zipping by everyone, and no one's judging you. That's just not how things work. If anything, someone's going to judge you at the skate park, and that's not happening anymore. All right, finally, let's talk about falling and taking risks and protective equipment. This kind of goes back to the first category of equipment. You're gonna find a place to buy skates. Most of the time, they probably sell protective equipment. And I would recommend, at the very minimum, no matter how experienced you are, no matter how inexperienced you are, if you're a pro, if you're intermediate, if you're a beginner, everyone needs to be wearing a helmet. I wear one. I used to not, and looking back, it's such a stupid thing that I didn't. Because all it takes is one fall and you hit your head and you can't skate anymore. If it's a bad enough injury, you cannot do the thing that you love to do anymore. I recommend a helmet, and again, there's lots of good places to go. There's lots of different types of helmet. If you're confused or you don't know what you want or what you think you need, again, hit me up on Instagram and I can point you in some good directions. Falling and risk. So this is probably the biggest difference between learning to skate as a kid, as a teenager, and learning to skate as an adult. This is the number one biggest difference, and it is that if you have learned how to skate as a kid, as a teen, and you know how to fall, like you've trained yourself how to fall, you know how to tumble out of a fall, you know what to pick up, how to put your hands on the ground. Like, falling is an art form, and I think I'm pretty good at it. I've definitely rolled out of some what could have been serious injuries. And if you have learned to do that as a kid or a teenager and you're coming back to the sport, I think you have an advantage. If you are an adult and you're just getting into inline skating, especially aggressive inline skating where there's a lot of risk, you probably don't know how to fall, and you are going to injure yourself. And that's just part of the sport. I injure myself, pros injure themselves, everyone injures themselves, and it's why wearing a helmet's important. But you are at a disadvantage if you've never skated before, because falling as an adult is just so much more serious than falling as a teen or a kid, where you can break a bone and you've snapped back in a couple of weeks. Whereas if you break a bone as an adult, you're probably going to take longer amount of time to heal, and then also, depending on what you break, that can affect your personal life outside of skating. If you break an arm and you're in a cast and you break your hand and you rely on a typing job, you're gonna have to consider that you might not be able to do your job well for a couple of weeks, a few weeks, maybe a month or two. And that's just part of the risk of skating, of doing this sport. All I'm saying is be prepared to fall and hurt yourself. And with that said, you should get a helmet at the minimum. Everyone falls, it's gonna hurt, and it's just part of the sport. So yeah, those are my 3 topics I wanted to touch on. If I left anything out, or you guys are feeling nervous about something that I didn't talk about and you want someone to take the edge off, and I can talk you through maybe an experience I've had that's similar to yours or whatever, if I missed something and you guys just want to know more, just let me know in the comments and I can try to be as helpful as possible. If it's something a little more private, hit me up on Instagram and I will answer your messages there. Those are my three nuggets of advice for someone who is learning to skate as an adult. The most important thing is just to go out and do what you love and have fun, and it doesn't matter who's looking. It doesn't matter if you're on this level or if you're on this level. It just doesn't matter. Just go out and have fun. The more people inline skating, the better. It creates exposure, it creates excitement, and it creates growth of the sport. So I don't know, that's pretty much it, guys. So if you guys liked this video, if you thought it was helpful, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe and ring the bell so that way you know when my videos go up. And if you are absolutely itching for more content from me, I do have a Patreon page, and I have started making content, 1 video a month for my all access patrons. So this month's video was my first video, and next month's video is going to be my second. And it's going to be about my experience growing up skating with my friends in Florida. It's going to be a trip down memory lane. And for those of you who want something a little more personal out of me, it's going to be one of those personal videos. Consider becoming a patron if that's what you want to see. There's lots of benefits there, discounts on products. I have some shirts coming out soon, and I think a lot of people are going to like them. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.